Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today I'm going to show you how to make sourdough starter at home with just 2 ingredients. And this sourdough starter can be used for sourdough bread. You could also use it in pancakes, waffles, and it's really easy to make at home. It does take some time. It takes about 7 to 10 days until the sourdough starter is mature enough to use in like bread. And there is one thing that you really need. You need a kitchen scale. And I just have this one. It's called Etex City. And I got this on Amazon for like 12, 13 bucks. You don't need to get a really expensive kitchen scale. I really like this one. It works great. I know here in the States, a lot of people aren't used to measuring their ingredients by weight. They usually use like cups, but for sourdough and sourdough starter, you really want it to be pretty precise, okay? So just pick up a kitchen scale and then you can use it for other recipes as well. All right, and it's very simple. We're gonna take our container. This is just a mason jar. This is a 16-ounce jar. And then we put it on the scale and you hit the zero out to zero it out. And now we have some options for the flour. We need equal parts in weight, not volume, equal parts of flour and water. And it's really important to use unbleached flour. And it's usually recommended to start with something like a dark rye flour or a whole wheat flour, again, unbleached. It usually works a little bit better. You can start off with an all-purpose unbleached flour. At the beginning, it'll just take longer to activate the starter and get alive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rye flour, and this is just the Bob's Red Mill brand, and I'm going to just take some flour here, and we are going to measure out enough so we can reach 100 grams. All right, there we go, at 100. And now we want to add the water. This is room temp water, and I'm using filtered water. Don't use tap water, use a good filtered water. And I want to zero this out again. And then we want to add 100 grams of water. So 1-to-1 ratio. Again, that's weight, not volume. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to mix it really well. You want to make sure that that water and flour is all mixed together. And what it's going to do is it's going to come together and it's going to be like a sticky dough almost. Make sure that there's no dry bits of flour in there. Then I just kind of push it down a little bit here. And there we go. That is all you need to do to start. And then you're going to just put the lid on loosely on there. You don't tighten it or anything. I usually have just a little bit of crack so some air can get in there easily. And I'll let this sit for 24 hours. It is day 2 of the sourdough starter. And if you look down here at the bottom, you can see that there's already little bubbles starting to form, and that is perfect. That is what we want to see. And now we need to discard most of this and then feed it with more water and more flour. You can save the discard if you want and then use it in something. I'm just going to scoop most of this out of here. And you'll be able to smell a little bit of a yeast smell. All right, now we'll put this on our scale here and we will zero it out. And now I'm going to feed it. You can feed it with whole wheat flour again. You can feed it with more rye flour if you want. I'm going to feed it with all-purpose flour, but make sure it's unbleached, because eventually I want this to turn into more of a white flour sourdough starter. Okay, and then so I want to measure in 100 grams of warmish water, filtered water. Don't use tap water, use filtered water. And it's about 85 degrees, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Alrighty, there we go. Zero it out. And then we'll add the flour. And this is all you need to do to maintain your starter after it's activated, is you just feed it. And when the starter is complete, you only need to feed it, if you store it in the refrigerator, you only need to feed it like once a week. And the cool thing is once you have your own sourdough starter, it'll last pretty much forever. There are sourdough starters that have been passed down from family to family from like the 1800s. Pretty awesome. And now, let's just come in here and we'll give this a good mix. And make sure you get down to the bottom, and so you mix it in with that other stuff that was from the day before. And then you just kind of scrape the sides of the glass just so you can kind of see the level of where it's at. And then there you go. And then you just keep doing that for about 7 to 10 days until it's super bubbly after you feed it. Once you feed it, it'll take probably 4 to 8 hours and it'll get really bubbly and double in size. And then you can use it to make your sourdough bread or whatever other sourdough dishes that you want to make. And a foolproof method to testing it is to scoop out a little teaspoon of it and put it in some water, and if it floats, it's ready to be used. There you go. Super easy sourdough starter made at home. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or requests, put them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thumbs up, down the corner, press it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care and happy baking, everyone.